I just like to grow up, really.
I want to be you when I grow up. You always seem to know what to say, the right things at the right time, with the right context in any situation. I envy that. It's true.
That's kind. That's really.
No, that's true.
I don't think I always know what
you
to
read
do.
a room. The minute you walk in, you automatically read a room, and regardless of what you're going through, this is my observation, you're able to just tailor whatever it is to suit that situation, saying the right thing. I walk in, I leave with emotion because of how I'm feeling at that particular point in time, and I'm feeling like, yeah, okay, fine, let's light up the area. Oh, I can't be asked today, so it's like, okay, whatever you guys want to do, I'm just here, sit here and listen. But when you walk in, you just sort of read the room, and you're able to command a room without people even realizing that you're commanding the room. Does that make sense? You do. You take over the room without people realizing that you're taking over the room, and then default people actually sort of defer to you. What do you think? What do you think? You know? Do you realize that you do that?
No.
Seriously, you do. And it's when we were out on Monday, went for an event on Monday, I was just watching it happen on the table. And I think it's listening. You also listen. I have to improve my listening skills. I do, I really do. You're listening and you're responding based on, even if somebody said something 10 minutes ago, you can always refer back to that. That's a skill.
I think right at the very beginning when we started doing this, I talked about listening and loving people, if you remember.
Yes. Yeah.
And it comes back to that. Recently we had a situation where you mentioned sort of reserving a feeling about someone. And I said to you that sometimes it's good to think about the person and their background and what they might have been through, and to kind of really get an understanding of why someone might react or behave or live life the way they do. So there are so many contributing facts, and so for me that listening is so important, to make sure that if I, no one can get on with everybody or like everybody, and that isn't what the world's about, but that understanding can really help the reason and help decide, okay, this person's really great, they might be brilliant in a workplace, would I spend time with them socially? No, but they probably wouldn't want to spend time with me either. But understanding people and the way that they are, why they are, how they are, I find both interesting and beneficial, to prevent any sort of judgment or that doesn't mean that it's not a decision. I wouldn't make a decision not to spend time with them or not to work with them, or that my ethics or beliefs don't align. It doesn't mean, but when you really get under the skin and walk around a bit, favourite book of all time, Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird, when you do that, walking around in someone else's shoes a bit, it at least gives you perspective. And I've always said I don't care if people don't like me. I really doesn't bother me. I'm never affected by. But I think when I feel sad or sorry about somebody having that feeling about me is when they don't actually know me. So I think when somebody, and that isn't just about me, but I think when somebody doesn't actually really know a person, you can't really make an overarching decision unless they've done something really cool or unreasonable.
I do, similar to yourself, I care about people, I like people. Also, it gets to the point where I'm at that point, and I wasn't always, where I really don't care what people think of me. But I think the difference is that you're consistent in terms of listening. I think regardless of your mood or where your head is at. Whereas me, Some days I think, yeah, I'm in the mood to just chill, and other days I'm like, can't be hard. I can't be bothered. I don't want to listen. I don't want to see things from your perspective. I don't want to hear it. I really don't care what you've been through or what's going on in your life, 'cause I've got too much going on to care about. There is that selfish aspect. I do see it come out sometimes. But I will also say to people that, sorry, I can't deal like that because I've just got a lot happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think one of my guilty things that I used to do was say yes to everything. Because I'm so in the know. In the know? In the now. I'm in the know and
you're in the know and the now. Yeah.
Because I'm so in the now with the way that I operate, it's so easy to say yes, of course I will. Now I'd go into that holding pool and go, hang on a minute, let me make sure.
Check.
Because, and again, when you are more of a radiator of a human, which tends to be with the extrovert style personalities, it's usually our personality type that actually then bursts the gasket and has a breakdown. We were talking about,
yes.
People who do have that.
Yeah.
And there's a misconception, I think, sometimes that as radiators we can just keep going and that we don't need that pause and regroup and bring yourself back in.
I was talking to my brother about this, and then something that he said to me, well, who cares about me, who asks after me, who wants to help me, who wants to support me, because every time we're seen as the ones that are strong, capable, out there, the ones that radiate and like you have no problems, no issues. And I think that my reaction to that is that I don't give a damn anymore. I want to be. Last year, my word for 2023 was selfish, and I think it's going into 24. As in, consciously faking it till I make it, and it's working. Trying to put myself first, because most of my life has been about other people, not through any fault of their own. I'm holding myself accountable for this because I used to derive happiness from other people's happiness. Making other people happy made me happy. It still makes me happy. But I've just learned to put myself first and love myself that little bit more and be a little bit more selfish. And it's working.
And it's more self-care than selfish.
Oh, no, this is selfish.
No, I think I watch you and
consciously saying Shalom Ijoma Lloyd comes first in this situation.
Yeah, but that isn't selfish. That's first.
I've never done that.
That's first aid rule. So the first aid rule is if you don't look after yourself first, you can't look after anybody else.
It's to put your mask on.
So actually, the selfish is the other way round. So the selfish is doing something for somebody else because it makes you feel good without putting your self-care first. That's more of a selfish approach, whereas a self-care is, okay, so I'm going to make sure that I'm all right because then I'm in a much better place to look after somebody else.
Okay, I think it's a bit of both. Because I can identify, this is true, honestly. I can identify with both. And it's real, I've talked about this before, it's realizing that when you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah.
And I want to have a blast while I'm here. I want to have a blast for me, too. I love being a mother, a wife, a sister, all those things. But I also love being shalom for myself, and the selfish side is doing those things that I know that it'll help other people, but it helps fill a gap for me, fill a hole for me, because I derive this pleasure from doing things for other people and seeing other people happy. Even that I'm pulling back a little bit, thinking I'm doing it for myself, but myself. So I know what you mean about selfless and self. I think it's a bit of both.
Everybody's selfish at
and
some
I'm proud that it's a bit of both.
Yeah, everybody's selfish at some point or other with something, but that self-care is really important.
It is.
And without you looking after you, you said to me about all of the women in Africa at the factories that without what you have done wouldn't have the roles that they've got today. Now there's got to be a mix of all those things. You've had to have been selfish to a degree from a family perspective to be able to go and do that because you've wanted to do this bit over here, but you've been selfless at the same time to do what you've done over here. But the important bit that you I believe you haven't done until relatively recently, is bringing that self-care element between those two things. So I think you're far more aware now of the fact that you need to regenerate in order to be able to radiate. So I think your regeneration approach, from what I can see, has improved.
Well, I agree with all of that, but there's still something that to me that says I didn't, the facility in Africa providing those women with jobs, that wasn't my primary goal at all. When I think about it, honestly, it was not my primary goal to actually do this thing where people say it's not philanthropy. I don't like being called a philanthropist. It's business, it's trade, right? But that wasn't the primary goal. It was a byproduct of me wanting to, or me being a control freak, and wanting to control the end-to-end value chain of how my ingredients get from Africa to here. And in a way, the selfishness comes in the fact that I do want it to work. It has to be successful because I remortgaged my home here and put my family at risk to release money to build a damn factory in the first place. So
exactly what I've just, so that selfish bit has been here.
Yeah, exactly.
That, exactly what I was saying. So the selfish bit was here, the outcome was over here, which has a selfless element to it, to a degree.
It does, but
and then the self-care comes in between, which is what you're getting better at. In order for you to be able to lessen this, do you see what I'm saying?
I hear you.
In order to be able to lessen this and greaten this bit has to happen.
I have to be, I now realize I have to be okay. I have to be in the right state of mind. I have to be physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above, in a good place for either of these things to work.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Yes.
So it's not selfish, it's self-care. I just like the word selfish. I'm not calling myself selfish. It's not something I've called myself forever. So I think it's just, I get it. I think, but it applies to everything that we do, everything that you do. You know, doing something here to, whether it's generate income, revenue, to build a business, looking after yourself. And usually, I think it's about doing business the right way and doing the right thing. Because if you do business the right way and do the right thing, ultimately there's a byproduct. Automatically, I've seen it in everything. There is a byproduct out here that's, what did you call this bit again? That sort of being selfless. But you don't start with that. I say to people about purpose, impact, and then profit. That's the sequence. But when I started any of my businesses, there was always profit. Profit was always going to be the end goal. But in a way, it's all just morphed in together, and that sort of purpose and impact is really the byproduct of doing business the right way.
And profit doesn't always have to be financial.
No, I'd like it to always be when it comes to the business.
It's nice to have that.
It's nice to have that because
profit can be. I mean, because if you didn't have the financial profit,
you wouldn't be able to do
operating.
Exactly, and you wouldn't be able to do all these amazing things people think. You know, yeah.
And so the profit can be that 10 people that wouldn't have had a job have a job, but because of the financial profit, you've been able for them to profit and Africa to profit. And without some of the stuff that you're doing, you wouldn't be able to do the cancer stuff that you're doing as well. So all these things are like you wouldn't have chickens.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah, you had to go to the chickens.
We actually, I'll tell you what about the chickens, we're shifting, we've got the numbers right. There's 42 crates, I would say, per day of eggs to hotels. In fact, last week, a gentleman came to the factory to ask if he can just put a deposit down and just keep buying all the eggs. And we said no, because we want to be, fair to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not like a Unilever or one of the large corporations going and buying all
but
of the
story of my life.
Yeah.
When we say no, I think, I've just watched money walk away. But it's all right. Yeah, it's fair.
But you can always say you can have X percent
for a period of time or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they're doing really well.
Excellent.
I've got a competition going. Oh, for Christ's sake! Excellent. I love you to bits. You just
At least at least I can say some of those things here, which when we were out at lunch the other day, I was whispering to you.
We had to be.
I was saying to you, I want to say this, but I'm not going to.
We had to be proper.
Yeah.
It was fun, actually.
It was really good fun.
It was good fun. It was good fun. Oh, my dear.
Yeah, here we go again.
Here we go again. I actually enjoyed today a lot more. I don't know why.
We were kind of off track.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went really off track today, which is good.
I like that. I like that. Thank you, as always.